And the idea is, how can we create a unicorn? I really believe that we can create a German Tunisian unicorn. Inspire change. Today I'm going to talk to you about unicorns. Yeah, exactly. The first time I heard the term, I started laughing. I thought about my children. And actually, the term unicorn, I don't know if anybody knows what it is, but it was mentioned briefly. But the unicorn is a term that is used by venture capitalists in the US, started in the US, and it actually describes, or it's a slang word for a company valued over $1 billion. Okay. So that's, VCs are proud when they say, I have a unicorn. It's a company that is valued over $1 billion. Well, believe it or not, in Tunisia, we do have a unicorn group or unicorn club. Of course, they're not $1 billion companies, otherwise you would heard of them. But we want to be one. And actually, I'm proud to be part of that club. And the idea is, how can we create a unicorn? And so a group of entrepreneurs got together. Of course, many of them actually studied or worked in the United States and other countries around Europe. And now they're back in Tunisia, and some of them have startups, some have done, failed, starting again, etc. But we got together to actually create this group to figure out how to do it. Now, before I continue on the unicorn, just to give you an idea of myself. So I was born in Tunisia. My parents, my dad worked in the United Nations Development Program. We left Tunisia when I was 12. We went all over Africa, so Congo, Central African Republic, Mauritania. And at my baccalaureate at 17, I went from the Mauritanian desert to the snow in Boston. And it was a great transition. It was 17, I had very little English. I knew very little English. And, but of course, it was a dream to study computer engineering in the United States. And I was fortunate enough to have that opportunity. And finished my studies, master's degree, computer engineering. I started working, first in Boston, then Silicon Valley. And at the age of 29, I was offered the job of becoming vice president of the company I was with. And it was, of course, I was very young, but I always dreamed of having my company, so I was always thinking of preparing for that. And at the age of 40, that's it. It's now time to start my own. Actually, before that, I was in different startups, but that's when I decided to do my own startup. And so we started CREOVA. CREOVA is a technology company in the mobile payment space. Actually, we are similar to Mr. Hassan's company. And the idea was, it came from looking at, if you look today in the world, 7% of the adult population around the world has bank accounts. 7%. If you take that compared to the mobile phones, pretty much today, pretty much the whole population, the adult population around the world, and even children, have mobile phones. So I started the company with very little funding, and we started delivering, especially in Africa and the Middle East. And we launched in Tunisia. It was very difficult because of the regulatory environment. So it took us a long time, but we were lucky enough to expand, and now we're starting to expand in different countries in Africa and the Middle East, especially in Africa. So now we got to 6 countries in Africa. And actually the turning point, and now it's really starting, it's the turning point, unfortunately and fortunately, was what happened in Sierra Leone, because we deployed in Sierra Leone. One of the countries we have our systems deployed is in Sierra Leone, in the Ebola epidemic that happened in Sierra Leone. And why was it useful? Because that was the best way to manage the medication and vaccines and everything is when all the distributors take it and deliver it all over the country. The only way to make sure that you trace the payment was actually using mobile payment. And in 6 months, it just exploded as far as transactions was concerned. And that was an amazing relief to see the people that are using this technology to help them get their medicine delivered faster and traceable. So now going back to what I have talked about unicorns, what I believe and why I'm here is that to make a unicorn it's obviously the chances of having a unicorn just in the US is 1 in 5 million. The odds are 1 in 5 million. Can you imagine what it would be in Tunisia or anywhere else? So the idea is, what would make a unicorn? What are the things that are needed to make a unicorn? Of course, the people, the team, as we say in here, the funding. You need funding to have something that is quality and that it's scalable. But also, I think what's important is what I call the ecosystem. I mean, you can take the best developer, the best engineer, the best team. I would say, for example, you take the best player in football, Ronaldo. Well, Ronaldo today, he's the best player, but he could not win the championship with Portugal. But he does win with Real Madrid. Why? Because of the team, because of the funding, because of the ecosystem, because the whole ecosystem he's in makes it happen. And the idea is that here we are in Berlin, and Berlin has evolved and has created this ecosystem, the ecosystem for startups. I mean, Berlin is now, people say Berlin is the Silicon Valley of Europe. There are more startups here than anywhere else. And if you take that and take what we have in Tunisia and all the potential unicorns, and you put that together, I really believe that we can create a German-Tunisian unicorn. And I hope that we can see that. I think we have what it takes to make that. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you. Inspire change.